right. Thank you guys so much for coming. If you want to go ahead and come in, grab some food, mingle around, find a seat here and there and everywhere. Anywhere on this upstairs floor, help yourself. Grab some food. We'll get started here in just a little bit.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. Wow, that worked pretty well. Way to go. Yeah. Hey, my name is Charlie Vitito, and I'm on the board of directors of Hope Collaborative. Now, I have relatives in these parts. Vitito is not a very common name, but right down the road in Cecilia, I spent a lot of time there back in the day. But really appreciate you guys being here. And I was involved with Hope Collaborative from the very beginning, and I just retired as a missions pastor at Southeast Christian Church. And about 7 years ago, our church was considering coming to E-Town and launching a campus here. And I was overwhelmed by the spirit of unity in the churches in this community. I was just blown away, and it is such a sweet thing. So I'm just excited to be here and grateful for what God is doing. And just all you folks being here is an example of what God's doing in this community. So I told you I was a missions pastor. So our church is a generous church, and so we work with a lot of ministries. And Hope Collaborative was really started out of a desire to catch kids before they got in a crisis. The church is quick to jump in when there's a crisis pregnancy or there's a drug issue or there's a legal issue. But man, if we could unleash the church, just average folks like us, that would just sit down with students once a week on a regular basis, maybe we could prevent that crisis. So that's the objective of Hope Collaborative. So we really appreciate you guys being there. I don't know who's responsible for the food, but it looks great. And so well done, Micah. And so, but just grateful for you guys to be there. And I look forward to meeting a few of you. So I'm going to hand it off to Micah. Here he is.
All right. Thank you, Charlie. Hello, Hera. Now we're hot. I'm going to invite Mr. Myles up here with me. Myles, we have adjusted our schedule a little bit around this guy right here. Myles, come on up here. Don't be super shy. We are going to give you this microphone. Can you talk in front of a microphone? He's not normally shy much at all. But Myles, come stand over here with me. So what I want to do with Myles is I'm going to ask him a few questions. We're going to talk for a little bit because Myles is one of our mentees. Myles is one of the young men who has a mentor in his life. And I knew his mama, so I was able to ask her, hey, would you all come share? You're going to hear from Mom, and you're going to hear from his mentor here in just a few minutes. But this is going to give us an opportunity to hear from somebody who is getting some of this mentoring. So Myles, tell me, what is it like to have Mr. Quinton come in once a week to mentor? Put this microphone up to your mouth.
It's fun.
It's fun. Can you give me a little bit more than it's fun?
He gives us one-on-one talks, and he helps us with like things that happen in our lives.
Okay. So when things happen in your life and you're struggling with certain things, you come into Quinton on what, Thursdays?
Yes.
You come in. I'm trying to remember. 10 o'clock-ish.
Yes. During specials.
What's that?
During specials.
During specials. So you're missing art and music and PE and some of those things to come in there and talk to Quinton.
Yes.
Do you like being with Quinton versus
Yes.
those things?
Yes.
Yes. So you don't tell me about the other boys specifically because, you know, we want to keep their privacy. But for you, what kind of things have you shared and has it helped you?
I shared on like how I want to be better in school and life, and like yesterday, Mr. Quinn helped me with it.
Okay. So you have other conversations with Mr. Quinton at times as well?
Yes.
Okay. So if there was there's no other students or any kids in here, but if there were kids in this room or kids at your school that would be nervous about having a mentor, what would you tell them about having a mentor?
I would recommend it, cause like you could like build your life around like having a mentor and like have like more personality. So
It'll help you with personality and conversations and some of those social skills?
Yes.
Okay. So now I want you to look at these guys. If there's any adults in this room who are a little bit nervous about being a mentor, what would you tell them? Do we need more Mr. Quintons out there?
Yes.
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 So look at them all and say, we need more of you guys, right?
Yes.
Look at that camera right there and say, we need more of you guys.
That one?
That one right there, yeah.
We need more of you guys.
Yeah, we need more mentors, all right? Guys, Myles has actually got to go to a football game. He has made it to the semifinals, so Myles is going to take off. So, Myles, thank you, sir. Here, give me that. Give me that. Good. Hey, good luck, buddy. Semifinals. All right, so Myles is going to take off with my wife. She's going to take him to his game. Myles, don't forget your drink. Get your stuff. Miss Teri Lynn and Mr. Quinton, come on up here with me. You all are going to talk for just a few minutes. We're going to share with you from the mentor perspective and from the mom's perspective. So tonight is going to be pretty special because we don't typically get to tell you specifics about a student. We have 55 students having a mentor in Hardin County right now. And 54 of those children, you will not know their names. 54 of those children, you will not hear specifics and stories, but today you get to hear about Myles. If you see anybody with a lanyard on, a Hope Collaborative thing, or a school tag, you can talk to those folks because those folks are on the front lines seeing some of these things as well. So come on up here. That was me killing time for you all to come on up here. All right. So Myles. Quinton, we're going to go with you first. Quinton, tell me, what's it like to be a mentor?
It's kind of a surreal, awesome, crazy experience.
There we go.
You want more?
Yeah, you got more?
I got more.
Okay, go for it.
I'm wearing my comfy shirt because you got the same.
Okay,
picture.
well, don't go too long, Quinton. Just tell us a little bit more.
Honestly, it's kind of new to me because I'm used to kind of mentoring teenagers, and I wasn't used to doing the younger kids. And honestly, when I got together with the younger ones, it reminded me of myself when I was younger. And I won't go into a lot of detail, but I grew up very, very harsh, and never had adults in my life. And so when I'm looking into the faces of the young men, and they just remind me of me when I was little. And so I go in thinking about myself when I was younger, thinking I wish I had a me. Not that I'm doing anything special, but I'm just there for them. You have to just be available for them. And so it's just been an amazing experience because I know it makes a difference in their life. You know, so it's just being available for them. So it's just been awesome.
All right, we're going to pass the mic over. We're going to go back and forth, okay? Teri Lynn, there's two questions. First one is, how did you hear about Hope Collaborative?
I actually heard about Hope Collaborative talking to your wife. Katrina and I worked together at North Hardin. So when she shared that with me about that possibility of what this program would entail, of course, that fit me and Myles to a T. Then I had the counselor reach out to me from his school, and we had some conversations about it, and we thought that would be a good fit for Myles, considering what's going on in the family and in his personal life.
So dig into that just a little bit. Why does Myles need a mentor? I could go into detail on why every kid needs a mentor, but specifically, why does Myles need a mentor?
For Myles, I'm a single mother, so that in itself is a task. Myles is very good about communicating with me, being very open with me. I appreciate that, but I do realize that mom can only do what mom can do. And I think it's important for him to have men in his life, black men in his life, that show him the attention and time being huge. Children need your time. You can be present and not be present, and they really need your time. Another thing that we've really struggled with as a family, both of his cousins are battling the leukemia battle, Tinley and Adley. So he was about 6, 7, or 5 or 6 at the time. That was a lot to explain. Mom, is it going to happen to me? Well, why did that happen to them? Have they done something bad? All the questions that it's just hard for a child to comprehend all those things. So there's a few things going on with him, although I see a lot of growth in Myles. He is a very competitive kid, and that's going to be great in about 6 years. But right now, we're having a hard time channeling that, but he's getting better. Sports helps him with that, but I will tell you, this guy, he talks about him almost daily, and he doesn't even see him every day. But I already know that there's been an impact made there. So I'm gonna say this, and you're right up there with G-Paw. And that's my dad, and that's his constant. That's a constant man in his life that he knows will always be consistent, constant, and give his time to Myles.
Okay. Thank you, Teri Lynn. I might have something else for you here in a minute. So, Quinton, what kind of things do you all talk about?
I've had to learn. I go in and I sit down in the school with them at first and ask about school first.
Okay.
And we sit and we talk for about 10 minutes, maybe 15. Then we go outside and we just play. Throw football, play soccer, do whatever. And then because we do have 3, I do one-on-ones. So I'll let the other 2 go play, and then I'll just bring them over and talk to them one-on-one, and they share with me. I always ask them, how school was, how's home, what are they dealing with, are they upset, are you dealing with anger today? Share with me, and they'll tell me. Myles especially has opened up quite a bit. And so I'm just really trying to help him understand his emotions. And since she said it, I'm gonna be truthful. Black men, we're not taught to deal with that. And like I said, for not the sake of details, my father was an alcoholic, drug addict, and I was in a horrible accident growing up, the Carrollton bus crash. And hard life, mentally. So when I look at Myles, he opened up. And the worst thing for me, and I'm a bus driver, I don't want to see these kids grow up not knowing how to handle their emotions. When you don't know how to handle your emotions, it turns into other stuff. So that's what the main thing I'm really working on him with, and just being there for him, but listening. Adults got to learn to shut up, especially me, and just listen. And that's what I've been doing with them.
I looked to see if your wife was nodding back there or not.
I'm trying not to look at my wife back there.
Sometimes they need to learn to shut up. Maybe she's nodding now. Teri Lynn, I want to ask you one more question. Is there anything else you'd like to share about what this guy means, what this mentor program, what Hope Collaborative means?
I will tell you this. It's kind of funny because we've had this planned. Micah and I had talked a couple weeks ago, maybe even longer than that. But the night before, last night, Myles comes in the kitchen, and he's got these big tears rolling down his face. And I'm like, honey, what is wrong? I want to call Mr. Quinton. I said, okay. So I'm like, oh, gosh. So I get on Facebook Messenger. I'm like, I know I have him on Facebook Messenger. Let me send him a message. And I didn't want to not allow him to do that if Mr. Quinton was okay with it, because that's who he wanted in that moment. And I get that's okay. No offense to Mom, but that's who he wanted in that moment to have that conversation with. And he said, call me. So we picked up the phone. We called. I talked to Mr. Quinton for a few minutes, kind of explained things, and then I handed the phone over to Myles, and they had a conversation about testing, being respectful, controlling your emotions, all the things he discussed. So if I could say anything, especially to adults in the room, if you have time in your schedule, give it. There's so many kids that need it. There's so many adults that need it. But there's so many kids that need it. Even a child that has both parents, sometimes it's nice to have somebody from the outside to weigh in and give them just a little bit of extra attention and time. So just help them through their daily struggles or whatever they may be. So super important. I couldn't say enough about this program, and I know it's an early start for this program, but I know that there are some friends of Myles that are also seeing growth and benefits from this program, and so I'm super thankful. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Quinton the same last question. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Like she said, really, I can't say enough about this program, but if you're an adult, I'll say it this way: make time. I think we spend too much time doing other stuff. I'll be honest. I go an hour on Thursdays. That means more to me and Myles. I look to the long term. Not that I look to do this or whatever, but Myles is third grade. This means going to mean something to him because I'm going to stay with this. This is going to mean something to these young kids growing up. If you just take your time and just be in their life and not make this as hard as people think it is. I don't have time. You have time. So I'm thankful for it.
Okay. Teri Lynn, Quinton, thank you all so much. They'll stick around a little bit if you want to ask them some questions in a little while. Teri Lynn is going to have to go later so she can go see your son play football. All right. I want to share just a few extra details. No. Do not apologize. You go be with your baby boy. I want to share a few details about how we started, what's going on in Hardin County, things like that. Really neat thing that happened here with Teri Lynn. Teri Lynn is a Hardin County School employee. Normally, Hope Collaborative doesn't have contact directly to the families, to the parents. That's one of our agreements with the school system is we're going to stay under your umbrella and we're going to go through you guys to make sure we're having these conversations and these contacts. Now, with that being said, with Teri Lynn and Quinton both being Hardin County School employees, Teri Lynn reached out. It was her initiative. She reached out to Quinton, and so Quinton said, yes, come on. But we do not have those contacts with the children directly. We don't have their information. We don't have even the way to do that. But in this particular situation, it worked out great, and I'm glad that Quinton can be that guy for Myles. So I could go back to 2020 when the conversation started about Hope Collaborative coming to E-Town, but we're going to fast forward a little bit. In June of 2021, Hope Collaborative says, hey, we're ready to come to Hardin County. Let's have this conversation. Let's get things rolling. I started the process, and in August, I started with Hope Collaborative as the in-school program coordinator. Miss Morgan and I sat down, and we spoke, and we looked, and we said we wanted 3 of our feeder schools that go into our high schools. We wanted North Middle, we wanted Bluegrass, and we wanted East Hardin. We're going to start there. And I said, well, let's dig in there, let's get some people rolling, and then we'll begin to expand out. That was August when we had this conversation. In October, we planted our first 5 mentors in those 3 different schools, and then to date, we have 19 mentors, 8 schools, serving 55 children. I've been asked multiple times, what kind of expectations did I have? I'm like, I don't know, but we're just going to keep going. I always like to set a high bar for myself. I do believe we kind of surpassed what I thought we might do, but we're not done. We're not done because I want to do more in Hardin County. 8 schools is not all that Hardin County has. Although we have touched all 5 middle schools, we have not touched, we were in 3 out of 14, is that right? 13 elementary schools. We will roll into our high schools with some of our 8th grade mentors that will begin going to the high schools with those kids. E-Town Independent Schools has begun conversations. We're finishing up the agreement with them, so we'll be in E-Town Independent Schools in the fall. There are, where are they at? Where's my Lurie County people? There's some Lurie County people here who are interested from both the church side and the school side saying, hey, what about us? We want to be next. And so they're excited. There's a lot of things happening. We are not done in Hardin County, in our area. We are going to continue growing in Hardin County schools, E-Town Independent Schools, and then kind of beyond. So we're super excited about how things have grown, what is happening, really what God is doing. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen when we really can gear up for an entire school year. I started in August, and school has already started in August, so I hit the ground running. It'd be nice to have my feet planted a little bit and then try to get some momentum. So it's going to be exciting to see what this next school year is going to do. Tonight we wanted to share what's going on. And this is just a glimpse. One of this, Myles being one of our 55 children. Quinton being one of our 19 mentors. You're seeing just a glimpse of what is happening. Again, when we're done here in just a few minutes, we want to be respectful of your time. We're going to open it back up to food here in a few minutes. We're going to open it back up to conversation in a few minutes. I want you to find somebody with a school lanyard or a mentor lanyard, and I want you to say, hey, tell me a story. Tell me what they're doing in your school. How are they impacting your school? I want to hear how are you changed by mentoring, and what are you seeing in your students? So ask these stories. Teri Lynn and Quinton will be here for just a little bit longer. We are going to make sure Teri Lynn gets out of here so that she can go. We'll push her out the door, and I'll cut off the conversation so she can go. But Dr. Woods is going to come up, and she is going to share, because there's also a part of this that it comes down to all events, is some money. This is Dr. Cassandra Woods, my boss. Where are you going? Okay, well, just don't stand it. That doesn't help with the live feed. We're a live feed for video purposes. No, just Cassandra, stand right here. This is not part of a sketch, I promise. This is just her. Come here. Stand. Okay, you can move back and forth a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, you know what you're doing now. And the room and talking.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, everybody. I am Cassandra Woods, as Micah said. Now, you know, I am a 28-year educator. I just retired from JCPS as a high school language arts teacher, high school guidance counselor, elementary principal, and middle school assistant principal. So it's hard for me to just stay in one spot, but I have been told to stay in one spot, so I shall. I want to do a little exercise with everybody. I want everybody to close your eyes. And I want everybody to think about elementary school. What was the hardest thing that ever happened in elementary school? You can think inside school, you can think outside of school, just what just resonates about elementary school. I want you to kind of move forward now, and I'm purposefully not giving you a lot of time to do it. Move forward, middle school. I want everybody to think about their middle school experience. What was the toughest thing about middle school? The thing that even now, as an adult, just kind of punches you in the gut. Now move forward. You're a little older. And I want you to think about high school. What even now, in 2022, from high school, makes you say, man, how did I get through that? Man, that is so hard. Man, I'm not going to make it. Man, when is this darkness going to stop? When is it going to get better? And I want you to let those three memories kind of just settle a little bit. And so while your eyes are still closed, I'm going to force your brain to shift a little bit. I want you to go back to elementary school, but oh my goodness, now I want you to think about what was the best thing that ever happened when you were in elementary school. The thing that even right now kind of makes you smile. Fast forward a little bit. Man, what was amazing about middle school? Think about middle school. You're 10, 11, 12, 13, turning 14. What was the most amazing thing that happened to you in middle school? Fast forward. High school. What is the thing that right now, as an adult, you remember most about high school? And this time, as you think, I want you to listen to the words that I'm saying. What was the thing about high school that most prepared you for the specific space you're in right now? Both literally and figuratively. Okay, now everybody open up your eyes. And one of the things that I, as a 28-year educator who dedicated my life to public school students, one of the things that I thought 28 years ago was incredibly important, but I now know is pivotal, that I now know is required, that I now know post-pandemic that without it, we will not reach the height as a country, as a city, as a world, as a community, both intellectually and socially and emotionally. One thing that I know for sure is that without positive intersections inside the parameters of school, our children will never, ever experience all that they could. Let me say that one more time. Without an intersection, and I'm talking about all of them, because one thing that is universal, if you were between the ages of 5 and 18, in the last 18 months, you went through something, right? We all went through something. But I did not realize the gravity of that social disruption to the developmental, you fill in the next word, whatever, the developmental strength, the developmental acceleration, to the development of how we interact as human beings. School is the structure where you get that. School is the universal leverage. School is the only organization that no matter who you are, no matter what race you are, no matter what gender you are, no matter how much money you have to go through that structure. And it is inside that structure that narratives are created. For many students, the first set of memories that you actually just now kind of wrestled with, for many students, that's their reality. And for some, the next 3 memories, the great memories, the fantastic memories, for some, they also have those memories that just make your heart smile. But let me tell you, I would love to say as an educator that the school structure is designed for every single student, but it's not. It's not. And so where then does that intersection happen? It happens with you. It happens with you. It happens with you with your time. So certainly as a mentor, when you think about it, 4 hours a month. 4 hours a month. 4 hours a month to change the trajectory of an entire life of a child. So that's with time. Well, some people it doesn't work in their schedule to have the time, and that's okay. There are other ways to give. There are other ways to support, not just Hope Collaborative, but to support the type of city, the type of country, the type of people who make up our world. And so that might be financially. So let's say you don't have the time, the physical time. I think nothing replicates time, but let's say you don't. Everybody, there is a white card right in front of you. So I want everybody to kind of look on their table. Gonna make sure everybody sees it. Do y'all see it? Make sure everybody sees it, okay. And on that white card talks specifically about how to give to Hope Collaborative, how to actually intersect in a child's reality, how to give what Quinton gives Myles. Myles had an experience last night, and I'm repeating it because Mom shared it. Myles' lived experience last night was impacted by a school structure that I am certainly not saying does not need to happen. Every single child in any kind of school in any state right now is going through their first experience with testing. Think about it, right? Everybody. And while we may not think that that's a big deal and that that's a stressor, kids for the last 2 years have been quarantined, or they've been at home, or we didn't do testing too. I mean, there are all of these factors that are going on, but last night, Myles was able to move through that space because of Quinton. Be that for someone. Be that. We talk about giving back, and what I am here to say is that without us, without you, our children's reality will remain what their current environment is. And that's fantastic if it's a wonderful environment. But for many kids, it's not. So, whether or not you give by check tonight, because you can find anybody with a lanyard. I have on a pink shirt. You can't miss this pink shirt. I don't know if y'all can miss it, but I'll make sure that you get close to me. You can give me a check of any amount, any amount. You can give online anytime. The website is here. You can give through Kentucky Gives Tonight, and then there's a scan. There's a QR code. QR code. I got to rely on the young people. QR code that you put your phone up to. Put your phone up to it. But any way you can, right? If you can't give financially, if you can't give your time, then go to God on behalf of our children. Pray. Because our children are brilliant. They are exceptional. They are far beyond anything any of us have ever imagined. All we have to do is make sure they know that as well. Thank you.
Here's how I want to close. We are a Christian organization. We have Christ as the root of who we are. We know when we go into schools that is not something we can do. We are going to follow our rules in that. But we do want to have that as part of who we are. Our last few minutes, we've got about 10 or 15 minutes until 7:30. You're more than welcome to stay and continue to eat. We got plenty of food, so help yourself. Rich, you can get some more banana pudding, okay? So help yourself. There's all kinds of goodies. I want to go to the Lord and pray for you guys. I want to pray, thank Him for this evening. And so let's do that together, and then we'll just fellowship together, ask some questions, give us your checks, this pink shirt right here, give us those. So God, we thank you so much for who you are. We thank you for Jesus, who gives us hope beyond any other hope. But God, I believe that we go into the schools and we can give hope. That even though it's not a hope of Jesus, we can give a hope of a better tomorrow. We can give a hope of a future. We can give a hope of graduation. We can give hope that doesn't rely on all the negative things that maybe they have in their life. The things that they've been told that they can do, or the things that they will do, or that they'll never do, they'll never amount to anything. But God, that through Hope Collaborative, we know that because of you, we can give hope. We can share hope. So, God, we give this night to you. We give everything to you. And we thank you most of all, again, for Jesus. And we thank you for our time together. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Teri Lynn is going to hit the road. Thank you again, Teri Lynn. Thank you, Quinton. Guys, fellowship, eat some food, ask some questions, give some money. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.